Viewers and listeners, you are welcome to Federal Inland Revenue Service. I am presenting to you e-filing walkthrough as was deployed by Federal Inland Revenue Service to ease your compliance process. You look at the picture here, you'll see that FRS is automating the entire tax process. We deployed the e-filing functionalities to move you away from manual returns filing to automated returns filing. The era of carrying bulky files around, taking the risk of transporting the tax office will soon be over as you move to the new level where you only use your system at your convenience zone to transmit return to tax office. The platform provides you with capabilities to file your returns online and to perform other functionalities in relation to tax compliance on the platform. To do this, you must complete e-filing access application form to enable you use the system. This is similar to the mandate form you fill when requesting for PIN or internet banking access. Please follow the step-by-step guide in this presentation. To start with, I present here the e-filing access application form, which is similar to mandate form you fill when you request for access or internet banking service. The form has part A to E. On the part A, the taxpayer who is introducing a representative or a consultant or a proxy to FIRS will fill the part A stating the name of the company, the tax identification number, the tax office where is submitting the file, the form to, and the date the form is being completed. The part B, the company will also state the type of access to give the viewer. Here we have the view only access. Anybody that his name is put on this form will have view only access automatically. While some people will have a declaration, that is the capability to declare returns, that is file return online on behalf of the taxpayer. Some also will have the team validation access, while we have other accesses such as editing of taxpayer profile, request for taxpayer certificate, request for validation of other receipt certificates, and the use of message center to transmit return. The person being introduced, the company will have to state the person's identity, the person's position in the company, whether it's the MD, whether it's the accountant, director, or tax consultant, auditor, or others. The person being introduced, the details must be put under part C. In part C, you will state the name of the person, whether it's your employee or a hired consultant or your usual auditor. You will state the first name and then the surname. These are the two naming structures that sectors will recognize when giving you username and password. You will state means of identification of that person and the address. Normally, we use employment ID together with either national identity card or driver's license. The phone number of the person being introduced together with the person's signature. Under the part C, the person introducing this representative who must be principal owner of the company or either the MD, in some cases company secretary or the chairman of the board completes this form. What matters most is that the people who matter most in the company is the person introducing somebody for FIRS to give access to on this e-filing application. The person will state his name and then the name here, the position, whether it's the MD or is the chairman of the board or is the company secretary. There are some taxpayers that Empty signature is not enough. The board also wants to sign, so we have provision for 2. Under Part C is the work done at the taxpayer service of Federal Inland Revenue Service. The officer receiving the form will recommend to tax controller whether this person is eligible to be given the access right. First thing they will do is to use the information available in the file to confirm the name of the person who is authorizing somebody to file online on their behalf. Once the name and the signature is confirmed with the available information in the file, then the agent is now being created to use FIRS site. With that form, the representative is being created and is issued username and password. Normally, it used to be first 4 letters of the first name and the first 4 letters of the surname with a system-generated unique number. At the tax office, the instruction they were given is that in the first instance, use the username as the same thing as password for the person to go and change the password on its own. So at the moment, when you have your username sent to you, either through your mail or it was done in your presence, all you need to do is to log in to the e-filing site and change the password immediately. The e-filing site of FIRS is a secure site with URL https://efiling.firs.gov.ng. You can log on to that anywhere using any browser, and you hit the e-filing homepage. Internet Explorer not below 9 works with e-filing environment. Firefox and Chrome also work with it. You can either go through here or you go through FIRS site and link through e-services. You will see e-services tab. Underneath, you will see e-filing, e-payment, all the e-solutions deployed. You click and then you move on to Federal Inland Revenue Service e-filing platform. When you log on to this, you can use any browser to go into the site. And by the time you type this on any browser, it will lead you to the e-filing page of Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is this. On this e-filing page, what is required of you is to put your username and password and enter the environment. I have been created before with a username, which I'm going to type now and move on straight to do my filing. I was created with this username, ITASPROJ4968, and I'll give my password, which I've already changed. So I'm going to type that password now. If the password is wrong or the username is wrong, the system will not log you in. You now click login. By the time you log in, it will take you to e-filing homepage. This is typical e-filing homepage where you have the taxpayer service, which is used to collect all the tax type you want to file. You have message center. When you have any issue with the tax office you want to communicate, you can send the mail through this message center. The tax office will see it and reply you immediately. You have validity check. You can validate a third-party TIN in this platform, and taxpayer information that relate to the taxpayer name, TIN address, other information relating to banks, auditors, tax representatives, which you can change, modify at will. The only thing there, you cannot modify the address. We have the password change. If you want to change the password, you can really change it here. Here is the message center inbox. You have one message here now to read. If there's no any message, it will be 0. But with this one now, you can open the message and read. What is the message? The message is saying relate filing request. That was the message from the tax office. The tax office is asking you, I need extension for another 4 months to file return. So if I want to reply, I will reply to the message If I want to return to the message center, I return to message center. What I'm concerned most about on this presentation is the filing of return online. On this page, you either go through this hyperlink, view all declarations to be filed, or you go to taxpayer service. It will give you a collapsed view of all the tax type that you want to file. It brings you to this page. On this page, you are seeing all the taxes. You are seeing capital gains tax, company income tax. The company income tax is having the naira, is having the euro, is having the pounds, the dollar. Education tax is just here in naira. PAYE, value tax is here in naira, here in euro, here in pounds, here in dollar, and then withholding tax. You can scroll down here to see if there are more. What matters most is that taxpayer should be comfortable that the tax type here are actually the tax type that is under obligation to pay as far as the Federal Inland Revenue Service is concerned. If any tax type is not sufficient here, it means the tax office has not created tax account for you. What you require to do is to use Message Center to send mail to the taxpayer, to the tax office, that you need tax account for so type of tax. If it's the tax that you have been created before filing in naira, but you require to file dollar or pounds, you have to send that mail to tax office for them to create you. Because it's not all the currency of transaction that taxpayers are involved in that FIRS will know. If I want to file capital gains tax now, all I will do is to click on the plus sign to give me capital gains tax period available. On this period, I'm seeing file now, I'm seeing file now, file now, file now, and I've seen filed. Anyone that has been filed, you will see it with a document number, and when it's been assessed at the tax office, you will see with assessment number. The period that are not filed, you will not see it. If I want to see what has been filed for me, I will either use the document number or use the assessment number, whichever one. I will now click assessment number. It will bring out the content of what has been filed before for you to see, and that is the essence of the people that have access right to view only. This is what was self-assessed before. The taxpayer was having 1.1 million capital gains, and the tax on it 10% is 110,000. System is seeing the tax and is seeing no payment yet, and system is imposing penalty and interest. And the penalty is flat rate of 10%. Interest is graduated. At the moment is 17%. That is monetary policy rate plus ministerial spread, which is 17% and now. If the taxpayer wants to pay, all you just do is to click pay assessment and you pay immediately. This is for the assessment that has been done. Now I want to file. Let's say I want to file 2014. All I will just do is to click on File Now tab. It is blue because I have the right to file it, and that's why I'm seeing it blue. People with view only access will not see it blue. It will be brown, not accessible. So with this blue, I will click on File Now. I've selected 2014, and it brings me to this page. On this page, what I should do first is just to click the capital gain amount. Let's say I'm having 2 million. I'll put the 2 million, and let's say the gain is 200,000. I'll put the 200,000. And what next is to either save and exit, or I can submit like that. When I click submit, system will ask me, are you sure you want to submit declaration? Please note that you cannot go back after you click yes. Be sure of correct entries before you submit. This is a warning. If I need to correct something, I will click no for me to go back and do my corrections. If I'm sure what I'm going to submit, I will click yes. And from there, the system will bring up under 2 seconds. You have seen the account number, the tax office, the document number, which is your evidence of submission, the document date, and the currency of the transaction is naira. Then submission number is then the submission date, which is today. And you have seen the taxpayer thing, the taxpayer name, the tax type, the tax period that is being filed, and the due date for this tax period to be tax type to be filed. If this taxpayer wants to pay electronically, you can just click on this click here to pay. By the time you click here, it will take you to internet banking platform that have been deployed by FIRS. Currently, we are having the Remitter, we are having the eTransact, we are having the InterSwitch, and then the NIPS eTaxPay. You can click on any of these to make your payment. By the time you follow the process, you will get your payment successfully executed. That is the filing for the capital gains tax are earlier submitted. And let me go to another tax type for filing. I'm back to the collapsed view of all the tax type. If I want to submit, if I want to file education tax, I will click the plus sign for it to produce the available periods for me to file. I'm now having 2016 file now. I've seen 2015-14 already filed, and then I've seen 2018 submitted but not filed. Yes, that should have done in error. In production, you will not see the period that are not due. So now I can either file now, or I can go and check what has been filed on my behalf, whether they are correct or not. I can either click assessment number or document number to give me view of what has been filed before. And I'm now here. 1 million naira assessable profit was entered with 2,000. The taxpayer computed 2,000 as education tax, which is 2%, but system is changing it to 20,000 as the correct figure. So the 20,000 is the correct figure for the assessment, and being that the system has not seen the payment, is imposing penalty and interest, and the assessment is now 24,490, which is a 20,000 penalty. In 20,000 assessment, 2,000 penalty, which is 10%, and 2,490, which is interest, which is graduated per annum. What should be noted here is that the taxpayer computed 2,000, but system is saying 2% of 1 million is 20,000, and that's the correction system has done. If the taxpayer wants to pay, he will just click pay assessment, and he will move on to make the payment. This is done. Let me go to another tax type. In this time around, I'll click on company's income tax. What should be noted is that some taxpayers have company's income tax in naira, in dollar, in euro, and in pounds. Whichever your currency of transaction is, that is the currency to which you request tax account to be created for you. Now, I want to file company's income tax. The one you are seeing here is naira. If I click on it, it will give me view of the form lines. First and foremost, I've looked at the entire company's income tax here, and all these periods were filed already. They have been filed already. There are some that the taxpayer started and could not finish, and these are the ones you are seeing in progress. If I so wish, I can click file now to file a new one, and now it brings me to this page. I click file now, and I'm now having this form line. I have two alternatives here. The first alternative is to see, can I enter the form lines one by one, or should I do a CSV to take care of the entry so that I will no longer suffer? I may decide to enter the figure one by one and submit, or I may decide to do a CSV and upload. What matters most is for you to know the number of rows involved in this particular form. If I may count the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Line 200 here is 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. I'm now having 34 rows here. Now, you can create CSV Excel file of 34 rows and upload immediately. In order to do that, you must ensure that your system is in the configuration mode for the purpose of upload of CSV. To do that, you open an Excel file. When you open an Excel file, you click on File. When you click on File, you click on Options. When you click on Options, you click on Advanced. When you click on Advanced, you will now have the System Separators column. In this System Separators column, you will uncheck what was there before and then make sure that this particular box is, you see comma inside it. If it is dot you see there before, remove it by clicking it, remove the dot, and then put whatever you want to put and then check it back. In this case, it's comma that we are using for the CSV. So I will check it back and say OK. Now, if I configure the system for the 34 rows I'm having for CIT, it will go successfully. One thing that we need to note is that there could be header and footer. In this case, I want to do it the easier way. I will not put the header and footer. All I will just do is to count the 34 rows and then put the figures I want. If I put 1 million here in the first row, I put 2,000 in the second row, and possibly, just for the purpose of this example, I am going to use 2,000 for the remaining 33 rows. So to this place, and I'll say the 2,000 is already there. All I will now do is to save it in CSV. I will click on File, and then I'll say Save As. Then I'll go to somewhere and put the document. In this case, I want to put it under October. And in under October, I want to say the document is CIT CSV. By the time I've named this CIT CSV and I'm trying to save in October, I will now click on the Save Type. In the Save Type, we need to be very, very careful. The CSV that will work with sectors is CSV MS-DOS or CSV comma delimited. The two of them work with sectors. Every other one will not work with sectors. So I'm going to save with CSV comma delimited. I clicked on it and I say save. Now that I've saved it, it's telling me that some feature could be lost. No problem. I don't mind. What matters most is that I needed 34 lines and I've not done the 34 lines. I will now exit. When I'm exiting, system will ask me, do I want to save? Do not save again. Even to move it away from a comma separated value to another entire. So to say don't save. I've closed the box. I'm now back to this e-filing environment. I will click on CSV, upload CSV, and I will choose a file. But first and foremost, the figures I entered in Excel, I did not put sales, cost of sales, turnover, all those things. Rather, I only put figure, knowing fully well that I knew what is there in each of the rows. So I will uncheck the header included. I will uncheck it. The file I've done is not semicolon, it is comma. It is been done under the configuration of comma, and that's why we call it comma separated value, CSV. I will now choose the file to upload. It has taken me to October, and I saved it as CSV CIT, which is this, and I'll say OK. Now it is there. I will now say OK to see within a second, all the entries are done on the entire rows are already populated there automatically. So since I'm comfortable with this, I will now exit. I will now save and proceed. So now I will either save, proceed, or I will leave it for somebody else to come and look at again. And I can also submit the declaration. I can make any changes along the line, but if I'm comfortable that this is okay, I can submit. It is warning me that, are you sure you want to submit? Just like we had before. If I'm sure, I will say yes. Otherwise, I'll say no. And within seconds, it is going to give me acknowledgement report stating document number, submission number, date, time, the tax type, the taxpayer team, and also it will give me the buttons where I will be able to print. Is it current transaction? I say yes. Now I'm back here. Let's say I want to file VAT. The VAT here is the one in Naira, the one here is the one in Euro, pound, and then in dollar. I will click on the plus sign to open the VAT form. The VAT form, I'm having the period of February 2017 to file, March 2017 to file. And there are those that have been filed before, so I can check them to see what is there, or I can proceed to file another one. So I want to file, click on File Now for February. In this case, you're having a lot of lines here. All I will do is to count the number of rows and do CSV, or I enter one by one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 at 135, 21, 22, 23. I'm having 23 rows here. On these 23 rows, what I can just do is that since my system is on the configuration mode for CSV, I don't need to do the same thing here. All I just do is to create 23 rows for the upload of this VAT. Let's say I'm having 20 million or 2 million on this first row, and I'm having 1,000 on the rest, just for the purpose of the example. What matters most is that you know the figure that's supposed to be in each of the rows. So this is 23. I stop here. All I will do next is to save it in CSV. To do so, I will click Save As. Then to my computer, where do I save it? Okay, I have a folder in October, and then I will now call it VAT CSV. But I already have VAT CSV somewhere within the box. I'll put 1 this time around to distinguish it. I will not click Save yet. I will look at this place to make sure I save it in CSV. So you check the save type. I've already said that comma delimited works, and CSV MS-DOS also worked. So if we select comma delimited, we're here, and then I say save. It's telling me that some features will be lost. Well, you are less concerned. Now you exit. When you exit, don't save. I will now go back to my e-filing platform. I'm already here. Now all I will just do is to upload CSV. And I did not create any header like sales exclude VAT, zero rated, and I did not create those headers. So I'll uncheck this. The file I prepared is not in semicolon, it's in comma. So I will click comma, and I'll now choose the file from my folder. And it was CSV, VAT CSV1 I created, and that is this. And I'll say okay, open, and I'll now okay. When I now okay, see, within 1 second, the empty cells here, I've now seen the figure inside them. If I'm okay with this, all I'll just do is to submit. When I submit, it's asking me, are you sure? I say yes. Then it will now bring me submit. It is finished. It's submitted under 2 seconds. Now I've filed this return properly, and I've quoting my acknowledgement, stating the account number, the tax office, the document number which I will use to pay, the document date, the currency of the filing, the submission number, and the submission date. Also, the taxpayer theme is clearly stated here. The taxpayer name is here, the tax type, the period I'm filing for, and then the due date for that filing. So, I've finished the filing. What is left is that if I want a copy of what I've filed, I can just click on print. When I click on print, it will give me a PDF copy of what I've filed. I can just print that one and keep for personal use. So this is the copy of what I've just filed now. This is the copy of what I've just filed. I can print this one now. I have a printer here. I'll connect to it and print and keep it in the file, signifying that I have filed for that period. I am back to the e-filing environment, and while here, while on the environment, I've already done this. What matters most is that the document number signifying that I've filed is already here. Submission number is also there. Document number is for you to make payment. In case I am ready to pay, I'll just click pay here, and it will lead me to payment platform of our Federal Inland Revenue Service, where we currently have Remitter, we currently have eTransact, we currently have InterSwitch, and eTaxPay, which NIDSS deployed. From here, I can go back and file another tax type. What matters most is that we understand if the lines are many, you do CSV. If the lines are not many, you can enter them directly, and then you are done. I've successfully filed VAT return. I've successfully filed capital gains return, also education tax return. The business consciousness that needs to be created is that for the VAT return, sales on income is excluding VAT. Line 15 is telling you zero rated and exempt item, all of them, if there's any, you adjust them. Under sales adjustment, it can be minus, it can be plus. Where you are having 1 million naira sales, and also you are having a contract which just came to you about 50 million, this line 10 here will be 51 million. You can come to line 22 here and do the adjustment for the 50 million so that sales income subject to VAT under line 25 will now be the 1 million, which you have the output VAT with you, on which you can set up your input VAT. But the 50 million, the VAT on it is already gone to Federal Inland Revenue Service through the MDA. So you have opportunity of knocking off the 50 million from the sales adjustment in line 22, or you come down to line 105 to adjust the 50 million. Either you adjust the 50 million direct under sales adjustment over there, or you come here and adjust for the only 5% of that amount that the MDAs had already deducted and remitted to FIRS. At the end of the day, you state the purchases here gross, and if there are stocks that you purchase within the period that have not been used to make the sales, you adjust for them here under line 45. Then VAT suffered on vatable domestic, no need, it doesn't add any value here because we are going to pick the total down the line. Domestic purchases for zero rated, you've mentioned zero rated there. If you have put anything under zero rated, you come adjust for those stock for the zero rated that has not been used, and you knock them up here. Then you now have purchase import. Every VAT you suffered on importation, you put them here. The tax office have the right to now question you to do proper detail so as to see whether they are part of those to be allowed as claimable under VAT, or those to be expensed out of P&L, or those to be capitalized. You now have total purchases subject to VAT incurred, which is the total of the purchases when you have adjusted for used stock, plus the VAT suffered on importation, and other adjustment was zero-rated and exempt item. Then you now have the total year, and 5% of it gives the input. The input under line 95 will be knocked up against the output under line 35 for you to get line 100. If the input is more than the output, line 100 will be negative, and it will now be the credit that will be automatically carried forward by the system. On the current form, you have the line 100, which is balance of VAT payable, which is excess of output over input VAT, and you have the opportunity to knock off the VAT deducted as source by MDS. But note one thing: while you are knocking off the 50 million from the sales under line 22, you cannot come down here and knock off the VAT element of 250,000 again. As you have knocked off the 50 million under line 22, you have nothing to put under line 105 again. If to say you do not knock off the 50 million from line 22 and line 25 is now 51 million, then you come down here and knock off just the 5% of the 50 million, which is the output VAT that MDA deducted as source and remitted to Federal Inland Revenue Service. We now have line 110, which is automatic VAT payment. The automatic VAT payment is the VAT you suffered when purchasing online, like Jumia, like from Jumia, Konga, all those things. Although the tax office will still review to see whether they are such that are allowable under the VAT law or those to be capitalized. So you have the opportunity to deduct them, and at the end of the day, you have the VAT credit brought forward. FRS will be calling for a lot of document now because this is the take-off stage where the opening balances must be jealously guided. So you have the VAT credit brought forward. If you have credit for the current month, the total will now be carried forward. Or the VAT credit brought forward, you have VAT payable this month, the brought forward will knock up against the VAT payable this month, and the balance, if any, will now be paid or additional credit carried forward. So a lot of things missing in the old form, they are already here in this particular form. That is VAT. I will go back to company's income tax and explain some gray areas again. I will go to declaration of taxpayer service as before, and I will come back to company's income tax. I have opportunity of going through what I've started or doing something fresh. I can continue with what I've started or something else. What matters most is I have a lot of things to explain under company's income tax. On the company's income tax, you are seeing the first line as the revenue, which is just your turnover. And then next to it is the cost of sales. Next to it is gross profit. Automatically, sales minus cost of sales will give you the gross profit. Then we have other income, then operating income, then operating expenses. You now have profit or loss before tax. Then you now bring balance sheet items in. The non-current asset is non-trust. Then current liability, you have the total asset. You now remove current liabilities, long-term liabilities, then the current liability plus long-term liability gives the total liability. The net asset will then be the total of the current asset and the fixed asset, that's non-current asset, you less applicable liabilities only. You and me know that deposit for shares, director's current account, director's loan, which looks like long-term liability, may be fictitious, so they are not allowed to be removed from the total asset before arriving at net asset susceptible to minimum tax in Nigeria tax law. You now have the issued and fully paid capital, you have the reserve, you have then the tax computation line from line 180. From line 180, you have the profit before tax brought forward. Then you now have profit adjustment. This profit adjustment is like what we are used to, adding back depreciation and other disallowed items, and then removing non-taxable income that have been included on the turnover. That is the profit adjustment. You bring the net here, and then if there's any loss, you relieve it, and then you have assessable profit. From the assessable profit, which is susceptible to education tax, then you add the balancing charge, then the balancing allowance. You remove balancing allowance before you now have the chargeable profit before capital allowance. You relieve the capital allowance. At the back end, you have the capital allowance brought forward, current year, and then relieved. Then the balancing value is automatically carried forward. Because of the removal of schedule, you will not be able to see them here direct. You now have line 260, which is total profit, that is the assessable profit less the capital allowance and other allowances. You have the total profit. The tax rate will now multiply by it. Note that we have the minimum tax rate of 20% for turnover below 1 million for specific industries, while others are 30%. So that tax rate multiplied by line 260 gives you what we have in line 275. Now, system taxpayer can put the minimum tax on his own based on his own computation, even though system is going to review what the correctness of the computation. System is going to compare the tax on profit, that is the rate times line 260, the tax rate identified there times line 260 total profit, compare it with minimum tax computed and the tax rate multiplied by dividend paid, whichever that is higher. The highest of the three will now be in line 300. And then taxation of deemed income. Anybody filling all this line will have nothing to do with deemed income. But where you have deemed income, you fill a separate form and you put the deemed income there and continue. System will now relieve the credit. The credit to be relieved, there are two portions. One of the forms, this form we are seeing here now, is the one we have just changed. We now have actual withholding tax and then real withholding tax. Line 380 is the relief withholding tax, which is the withholding tax credit, while 385 is the actual withholding tax. The actual withholding tax is withholding tax that system has confirmed being remitted on behalf of the taxpayer filing this return, while the withholding tax is the one that the taxpayer is claiming, that these are the total withholding taxes that I want to claim for the period. The tax office will now reconcile between the actual withholding tax and the withholding tax claimable to be able to identify which of the agents that have not remitted the withholding tax, and they will go after those agents. And at the end of the day, you have the company's income tax in line 300, which is the highest of the minimum tax, tax on dividends, and tax on profit, less withholding tax claimable, and you now have company income tax due in line 400. This is company's income tax, and as you have seen it here in Naira, the same thing. When you click on dollar, you'll see also be able to file in dollar. Always be conscious of this line. It states the currency of our declaration. If I want to, for the purpose of this example, put just few lines and submit this. Note that under this CIT, we don't have any asterisk line. To any asterisk line you see, whether you have transaction or not, put 0 so as to allow it to go. Otherwise, it will truncate. If you see any asterisk line, it's a mandatory line. I've just filed company's income tax now. Upon submission, I've seen the account number for the company income tax, the tax office, the document number, the document date, the currency, and other details. I've just filed my company's income tax and it's completed. If I want a copy, I will just print. If I don't want a copy, no need, I'll just go and make my payment, and I'll click here to pay. But what matters most is that the taxpayer, the tax consultant should open the tax file. The username should be the file number, but the password should be kept by the user. It shouldn't be known to anybody, because FIRS will not be held responsible if you surrender your password and somebody else uses the e-filing environment to commit fraud on your behalf. So you can print this copy and keep in the file. That is company's income tax being taken through. In the e-filing environment, there are a lot of things that can happen. I've already said that the message center is there for you to use. If you want to send any message, the validity check is also there. If I have a taxpayer team, they want to validate whether it's correct or not, I can just put the name. You can just put the team here, and I will now query the system to see whether that thing is valid. I will type this captcha inside so that I will not be, system will not see me as a robot. System will not see me as a robot. So upload the captcha, validate. It's telling me invalid captcha. So I will repeat. Maybe each N35M. It's telling me that this taxpayer name is Bullet International. I remember the thing offered, I just placed it here to confirm whether it is authentic taxpayer or not. I've seen it here, it is Bullet International. That is the validity check. If I want to change my password, I'll just click on change password. All that matters most is that the old password is stated, and then the new password is now typed twice and saved, and that is the end of it. This is e-filing environment of Federal Inland Revenue Service deployed to enable you file your return from your comfort zone. I've seen a lot of files, the returns that have been filed from far away in Malaysia, in Texas, they're all in the system. All you need to note is how you navigate through the system. On this home page, all you are seeing here is what the situation is. Down here, you see the tax account status. On the tax account status, you are seeing education tax here to be 58. Whatever you see in negative is signifying liability, while every positive item is the evidence of payment. So I've now seen everything here, and in total I'm having 14 million here as the balance for this taxpayer to pay. And the details are: the company income tax dollar is 2.3 million, the pay as you earn is 2.2 million, the capital gains tax 156,000, the company's income tax 9 million, value-added tax 562,000, and education tax 58,000. All these are the liabilities this taxpayer is. If you want to see the veracity of the computation, you can look at the tax account and see how you come about and this is the tax account. What I click is capital gain, no, it's education tax. So I can just come here and see how comes the negative. It is stated there. These are the details of how it all came about. These are the details. All the filing periods that translated into that. So everything you want to know about the tax, like the pay as you earn, you can navigate through it and move on. You've seen all these charges, they are the periodic penalty and interest that system normally imposed. The liability itself is here as the tax, and the penalty, is 10% of it is here. Interest continue to run throughout the period. Penalty is one-off 10%, but interest continues. That is how you determine what really gave rise into a particular liability in a lump sum. And this is the situation on the tax account. You can click either assessment number to know how the particular assessment is arrived at. If I look at the tax here, and to see the tax so that I'll be able to know how it is arrived at. Okay, I've seen the tax here, 4.7 million. I can click on the assessment number to be able to view the details. How we come about that 4.something million. Yes, it is here. The company is having assessed profit of 234.35 million, and 2% of it gave rise to 4.7 million. System has added penalty of 10%, which is 470,000, and the interest of 3.4 million, which is graduated on annual basis. So this is how you make use of the e-filing environment. I thank you for listening. Thank you very much. Goodbye.